guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome to Board Game the Game Show presents the WIN-terview, the only interview you can win. Yes, you out there, you can win this thing, and tonight, you can win a copy of Mall Madness, the new Mall Madness, the hip Mall Madness, the Mall Madness you'll find in Target. It is a game that you may say is cheesy. I don't know if you'd say it's weird, it's Mall Madness, and it sure isn't obscure. You can find it at Target, but all of those clues should absolutely let you know who my guest is tonight. None other than our moderator, Chris.
Good evening, Bruce. Good evening, the internet. How you doing today?
I hope the internet is well. I want to put comments up real quick and just check.
That could be fun.
They're just hoping you'd be let out of your trailer. That's what we've got right now. That we finally let you out loose on the streets with your brand new camera.
Kicking and screaming because the brown M&Ms were not counted to a prime number, right?
Oh,
yeah.
We're gonna have to talk to Leon.
Right.
That's who takes care of that. And Leon's usually real good about this stuff. When Beyonce was here, Leon was wonderful. I don't know why he cares more about Beyonce than you. And I don't get it, because every guest is special, Chris. Every guest is special. And then silence. And then just absolute silence.
I just thought I'd let that sit for a second so that people would really get the point how special every guest is.
It was not Bunko, it was Bance.
Sure, I believe that.
Here's the thing. I want to begin. I wish I could do a live counter. It's a thing I can't do here, but I would like to just count the Bances that are going to come up tonight, because that has to haunt you. That has to,
but in the best way possible. Yeah. It was one of those things. Like, we kind of started doing it early in the show. We were like finding our voice and trying some things, and it was one of those things off of it to an extent, about half to 2/3 of the way through, and then the people just kept it alive, and that's absolutely fine by me. That our silly little catchphrase with a made-up word from a word game where somebody was in a hurry and just wrote down whatever just took on a life of its own. So that's hello,
Mr. Fliptrick Flory.
I know that guy.
Here to talk to you.
Yeah, he has a birthday yesterday, I believe, was his birthday.
So
happy birthday to you, Flip, from me on behalf of the rest of the internet.
Yeah, happy birthday, Flip. I know. Yeah. I told you over Facebook because Facebook reminded me, because that's the main thing Facebook can do right now, other than introduce sadness. Those are the two things Facebook does right now: introduce sadness and tell me people's birthdays. A note here, cheap pop. Someone's going, you know what I say? Insert pandering catchphrase, expecting applause. You know what I say? We love you, internet.
We do, especially John Smackenwoe, who is joining us this evening. Famous tennis player John Smackenwoe.
Oh, I remember Smackenwoe.
Yeah.
He was supposed to face Navratilova in the second battle of the sexes. It just never happened because he broke his ankle and knew that Navratilova would beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. So everybody knows the two of us in the circles we run in, that this would have to happen at some point. This very show where you would come on to yet another part of Board Game the Game Show and be a part of what we're doing.
You know, I've made it a personal mission to be the Charles Nelson Riley of every creative project that you do. So whatever it is that you're coming up with, I will find a way to weasel my way onto it and perhaps bring the quality down just that much.
Oh, and I cannot tell you how much I forgot. So I restarted Just Barely Sports. Yeah. And I forgot you had done a Just Barely Sports.
Yeah, we were talking about wrestling and Mike Tyson's Punch Out and stuff. I think if I count the Pokemon here, so I've done the Party Game Cast featuring the Party Game Cast, and podcast about parties and you guys say the whole thing. So now this one, Board Game, the Game Show proper.
Yep.
Another one within this, which the name escapes me, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm also forgetting because it's still in the editing, because we decided that the live shows were the way to go, and we're fixing the taped shows because they require more work.
There's 2 or 3 things we've done that are on the cutting room floor as well.
Yes,
so, yeah,
absolutely true.
So whatever it is that you're up to, I will find my way in by force if necessary.
And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. Your support matters. I'm also talking to the rest of the internet, not just Chris, but also Chris. But this is a rare time because you've long since we've already hung your show from the rafters, as it were. So every time we come and we buy $9 hot dogs, we look up and go, flip the table, man. I remember when Flip the Table played.
Man, he sure beats that corpse, doesn't he?
I mean, you know how it works. And once Mania time comes out, we have to trot you back out.
Right.
And remind people how good podcasting used to be.
Oh, you remember we just play bad games on purpose? That's what a real podcaster does.
But we're at a rare time where you legitimately have a thing to plug, Chris.
I do. So about a year ago, I published a little print and play game called Roll Estate. It was kind of a passion project of mine and something I had a lot of fun doing. And it's coming up on its first birthday.
Nice.
And so I am happy to share, exclusive to people watching this tonight, that Roll Estate tomorrow, which normally sells for $3 on PNP Arcade, is in honor of its first birthday going on sale for $1. So if the outrageous price of $3 for this game is too much, you can get it on sale for 66% off tomorrow for about a week's time. And maybe we'll just do another $1 every year old it gets. So when it's 20 years old, it'll cost $20 for a week. And we'll do it that way. But yeah, so it's pretty exciting. And so if you haven't had a chance to check it out, don't buy it tonight, buy it tomorrow for $1 at PNP Arcade.
Nice. A fantastic little roll and write, a fun little puzzle. We've played it. I can't remember if we played it on the show. I think we played it on the show. When we were first accepting that the Party Gamecast has to change because the pandemic has deemed it so. So now it's a lot of roll and write. So say if you're out there and you're like, hey, what are we playing over Zoom? Wait till tomorrow.
Right.
Get it for $1.
$1. That's all you need. And I know you have $1. I have X-ray vision. I can see in your purse. So you should spend that $1 and just buy print and play games anyway. It's a great way to support independent designers and put some money in their pocket for their hard work. So definitely worth checking out. A lot of great curated titles at PNP Arcade from a lot of names that you already know and love. So definitely a treasure trove if you haven't checked it out already.
Very cool. Very cool. So then I have to ask, is there like a site-wide sale, or were you just like, it's the 1 year anniversary, we're doing $1? I'd buy that for $1.
So they're doing like weekly sales where they spotlight a title. And I was approached and they said, hey, would you like to put your game on sale? And I said, hey, the birthday's coming up, so let's time it for then.
Nice.
And so it all works out pretty nicely. And so the birthday officially is 10/4, good buddy. October 4th is when it came out. So it's easy to remember at the very least. So tomorrow, PNP Arcade, that's PNP Arcade.com.
Thank you. Had you not added the extra enunciation, I hardly think anyone would have known.
I'm just so used to like doing it for audio where like you have to really hit the letters right or people will type something in wrong. And then all of a sudden they have a computer full of viruses and ransomware because they switched 2 letters. And you can't have that.
You're like, PNP Arcade? No. Unacceptable. That takes you directly to a Russian troll bot farm. And now you're just part of the Borg. Your whole computer.
Right.
It's PNP, not PMP, you fools.
Right. You're just asking for trouble. Then that's why you enunciate in these things.
Fair. Yeah, fair. How dare I? How dare I, Chris? So we were talking ahead of time, as I do with every guest on the show, because the very last thing we do before we hit the button and start the thing and make Scooter start sending it out to everybody is we say like, hey, what do you want to talk about? And normally that's simple because whoever's on the show is like, oh, well, I got this Kickstarter and buy this thing and I'm starting this show and I'm doing this stream. And we were like, well, we need to talk about Roll Estate. Important.
Right. We've done that.
Past that, like, let's just talk about things.
Yeah, so, let's just talk about stuff that we would probably just talk about.
So we're on a game show, technically. We'll get to that in a moment. And let me do one thing real fast, is let me pull up the game show screen for everybody.
Ooh.
If you're out there in just a little while, we are going to start our competition and your chance to win brand new Mall Madness.
Oh, let me show you. I got an example here of what you may win. We'll just put it right there.
Let's make that the whole screen. Let me do that for a second. Whoop. There's what you may win right there. Brand new Mall Madness, which I personally have wanted to pick up. If you want to play on any device, if it has a web browser, gosh darn it, it's legal to play. I would say a phone or a tablet is best, but I'm not your dad. I'm not going to tell you how to live. Go to crowd.live, put in the code MA6GM.
MA9GM. MA9GM.
That is 9GM.
Yeah, you can remember because it almost looks like Magnum.
Yeah, it does almost look like Magnum.
Just about Maningum.
We even talked about this, and still my dyslexia flipped it around. MA9GM. That's how you get in. We're going to start the game in just a little while, but first, Chris and I are probably going to talk about game shows because we're on a game show, and I heard he likes game shows, so we found some game shows for our game shows.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's get this up because I don't want these to be missed. Bands.
There it is. There's 2. The second one on screen for tonight, I believe.
Bing.
There you go.
There's 2 for the night. I'm sure there will be many more. Once again, if you want to win Mall Madness, you need to figure out Chris's opinions on soup. And you'll be able to do that in a little while. Once again, go to crowd.live, put in the code MA9GM, which I messed up the first time. Don't worry, I'm going to remind you again. But it seemed like a perfectly good transition to get that out the first time. Right now, we have 3 players in the game, so mathematically, your odds are incredibly good of leaving with the prize.
Yeah.
That normally changes, but gosh darn it.
And let's be clear, like, this is not Hasbro, like, sneaking in a sneaky, like, endorsement or whatever. This is me personally buying for you and shipping to you a copy of Mall Madness.
Yeah, this is not sponsored content.
Right.
This is because Chris is an amazing human being. As was Crystal. Crystal said, you know what? We're doing the show. I don't like that you're only going to give a $5 prize, Bruce, because you have to do all these. So I'm going to give you something awesome. Chris didn't even let me get to the $5 point. Chris said, oh, your prize for the show will be Mall Madness because it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really nice new implementation. And because it's not actual sponsored content, you know, I can tell you that if you have the original game, this is about 75% scale. Okay. It's not quite as giant and chunky as the Mall Madness we all grew up with. But what's really nice about it is that it's the sort of cultural references are up to date and it is functional and you can get it, which is a great advantage it has versus the older versions.
Indeed.
And so if you do not yet own a copy of this game, this is a decent addition to get.
You know what? There's I like to hear that kind of endorsement. This is a decent addition to get. And I would say for Hasbro at this point, that's as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
Hasbro, don't get me wrong, because I feel like we can talk about this. Cheesy game, mass market games are one of your wheelhouses, and mine too. I've found over the years, especially as they've gotten better, I like them more. But Hasbro sometimes phones it in. And you can clearly tell that somebody told a designer, you have $1.75 to make this game, and they just did what they could. And sometimes they make a half-decent edition, and you're like, good work, Hasbro, thanks.
Yeah, you got to reward that kind of thing. And that's why I'm buying a second copy and giving it to somebody. So they can say, oh, this generated an extra sale. Maybe we'll do this more.
Maybe we should try to make decent stuff.
A decent edition of things.
Yeah. A decent addition. So then
I appreciate, and not to cut you off there, I appreciate with this edition, they didn't mess with what works. Like a lot of the newer mass market games that you're seeing, they're like making a lot of changes to like the mechanics and they're toying with the formula in ways that maybe I don't always enjoy. Like newer versions of the Game of Life are less about spinning a chunky spinner and doing lots of random things and more about like share an interesting story about your opinions about the past. Like that's not what I want from the Game of Life. Maybe it might be something I want from another game, but this one, it is exactly the Mall Madness you know and love with sort of just updated coat of paint.
And that I think may be the best for some of these. Although I want to talk to you about that for a second, because it's rare I get to talk to somebody that also likes mass market games. And every time I say like, well, Monopoly's all right, I don't have to be berated and have someone threaten to take my geek card from me. So let me jump through some of these comments here. Flip noting, no water chestnuts this week. That has been a prize in the past. That is not a prize tonight.
It is not a prize this week.
No.
Because I will be ordering directly from the retailer. And so I cannot stuff water chestnuts into the package without
No.
telling you. So that is not going to happen.
I'm totally losing, but yay for games, always good.
Yeah.
If it's an updated version of the game, is it 75% empty with a Sears turned back into a blacklight mini golf? There's just one of the anchor stores is just an Amazon warehouse.
Yeah, it's it's got like an Orange Julius and a call center, and those are the only two places you can go.
Your wife noting rad shirt.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mrs. M.
Yeah. I wanted to I figured tonight I wanted the subtle reference to things we know about Chris if you pay any attention. So I figured I would hit the weird Weird Al shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's boy. Melanie and I, for those who don't know, have a long history with Weird Al. We talked about it on our very first date. We have been to several Weird Al concerts. It's an important part of our relationship and our lives. So that is a great choice of shirt, I will say.
And from the outside, I will tell both of you, it's adorable.
It is adorable.
Yeah, it is adorable. Seeing the like, I remember the first time we became Facebook friends and I saw one of the pictures of like you and Weird Al, and I had to do a double take because you bought the like backstage pass. So it looked to an outsider as if you were at Madame Tussauds. It's like both of you, arms around him, like, and I'm like, this can't be. Oh, that is very real.
We only did that one time. We only bought the like super VIP pass once.
Yeah.
And it was a great tour to do it on. It was the I'm going to shorten it and say the Vanity Tour. It's the one where he was playing only pretty much B-sides and stuff that he hadn't played in many, many years. And that's the one where we decided to splurge a little bit and get the backstage passes. And we met some amazing people that we had dinner with after the show. I got to play Weird Al Jeopardy with the big orange set. That was really cool. So it was a real fun experience. But there had been a couple other times though that we were able to like catch him on the bus, like after the show, like it's kind of a 50-50 shot with him. It's like either he's going to hang out and sign stuff out back of the theater, or he's just going to disappear into the night unless you paid your extra VIP or whatever. But, anytime that we have had that opportunity, he is just as nice as you would expect him to be. So
I felt the same way about Pee Wee Herman.
I want to believe that. Yeah.
I went to see him on Broadway, and the only rule he has is he will not sign autographs, but he'll take every selfie.
That's really cool.
Like, yeah, I saw him at Broadway, and everybody was like, "Oh, will you sign this?" And he said a couple times, he's like sitting there drinking a tea because he's been yelling for an hour, and he's like, I won't sign anything, but Will be in every picture you want. I'll do whatever you want. I just don't want people to sell my signature. So I will stay here until my hands freeze off in every picture you want.
That's actually kind of awesome.
Yeah.
The idea that, if you want like a genuine fan experience, he is more than happy to give you that.
Yeah.
Versus just like somebody comes up with like a binder full of like sports cards with Pee Wee Herman on them and say, can you sign like 400 of these? They're all for my aunt. Like, and
I have a feeling he must have had that moment a couple of times.
Probably. It's that's the kind of thing that you get burned on before you do something different. OG Life. Yeah. Game of Life is fun. It's like the 80s and 90s editions are pretty wonderful. I think my favorite edition, the one that we have that we like, is the one where if you have the career as a computer expert and the wheel jumps the track, you get extra money for fixing it.
Oh, that's great. That I still remember I had like an old thrift store copy where Art Linkletter was on the money. Like way back in the day in the 60s, he's on the money, and there's like you can make weird investments in bonds that like I've never seen in another version where it's like if you remember the
Art Linkletter is on the money.
Yeah. Art Linkletter's on the money, and there's like the red much better made bond bills. Where I'm like, oh, I don't know what we were trying to sell. Probably something for a war effort at the point Linkletter's on the money.
It's entirely
a couple more notes about what may be in the mall in Mall Madness, which is a Spencer Gifts turned into a trampoline park, a J.C. Penney's turned into a church, and a question is, wait a minute, did Judy Tenuta take your order and Barnes & Barnes park in your car?
We will say yes, because you can't prove it wasn't the case. That was actually the tour that he was touring with Emo Phillips, and I got to see Emo Phillips live stand up. So it's kind of a 2-for-1, because he traditionally does not have an opening act in his show, but in this tour he did. There was a stark contrast between Weird Al's sort of family-friendly, clean-cut material and Emo Phillips' more recent stuff, and it was a refreshing change of pace, I will say. So that was a fun experience just there, like to get to see Emo Phillips live and in the flesh. That was cool.
That's awesome. Also, a note to anybody, because I've been to one Weird Al show when he came and I knew and I saw it, is that his timing is as good as any Lady Gaga concert, as any Britney Spears concert. Like, I would say the timing he manages, you have to put up there with like pop stars.
Right. This is a person who is a master of his craft. Like, he takes it very seriously. And of course, having done it for now 4 decades, like he's figured it out. Like, he's got the rhythm of it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's one of those things, like when you see a wrestler that has to talk to the Jumbotron and isn't good at it, you see all those moments where like they didn't time it correctly and it looks bad, but when done perfectly, it is amazing to see done. And that is Weird Al the whole time. The screen is there and Weird Al is timed to the second like a Broadway show. And it is stunning to watch.
I know. Yeah, it's wonderful. Hopefully in the future, we'll get at least one more tour out of him. Hopefully.
I would have to imagine.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got to have more to say for at least like one more group of songs, if not just tour the old hits one more time.
Yeah. I mean, I at least appreciate that he's kind of doing things on his own terms now. You know, he's sort of given what he wants to give, and now he just does stuff if he wants to do it. And that's an awesome place to be in your career.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
I know the last thing I heard him do was he redid a couple of songs from Portugal the Man. He did like multiple Portugal the Man remixes. I'm trying to remember what Portugal the Man, like Portugal the Man had the one big song that everyone cared about that sounded like nothing else they did. And Weird Al literally like just did a accordion version along with them. So it's just a Weird Al accordion remix before he got into all the stuff for Hamilton. Let's take a look at some more comments here. Let's see. Somebody noting, the Art Linkletter version that all the paper stock and insurance stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Mirkwood Lodge. I think I've been to Mirkwood Lodge. I think I had to do a wedding there in 2004.
Yeah, good coffee there, I hear.
Yeah, the coffee wasn't bad, but the problem is it's 2 sets of steps. And you never want to have to carry all your equipment up 2 sets of steps. I still regret missing Al's last tour. My wife was super pregnant, though.
The Strings Attached tour, the orchestral one. Yeah.
Yep. Super psyched to see Emo.
Yeah. So a couple people who went on that tour, yeah.
Yeah. Go-kart track. It was a Macy's. Okay, got it.
Boy, I
go-kart
wish.
Track inside a Macy's.
The Bangor Mall has been struggling lately, and they need some trampoline parks and go-kart tracks going on. Like, they just haven't quite made that pivot yet to the indoor entertainment. And hopefully they eventually get there, because it used to be a destination place for us. It would be a place we go like every weekend.
Nice.
And then like the last toy store closed, and now we were out of reasons to attend them all. So we're hoping, knock on wood, indoor mini golf, a round one bowling alley, perhaps. And then we'll make it happen.
Let's take a look. An all polka show. I would 1,000% go to an all polka Weird Al show. I was always shocked he never made it to Big Joe's polka show as just like a joke one time. Which, if you're out there, folks, look that up. That's real. I think Big Joe's dead, but he made enough polka shows that they are still showing it on. God, it's like the Rural TV network. You can get it on like satellite. And yeah, Big Joe is my concept, guys, gals, non-binary pals, of exactly what the American dream looks like. It is definitely him.
Yeah, it's. I'm surprised something like that wouldn't be on the old Pluto TV, where you can look it up digitally. Maybe.
I want to say Rural TV Network is still. They have like a couple things they're real good at. and they're holding on to them tight because they shouldn't give away the Big Joe Polka show because so few people care that they've got to get every dollar out of those people, is what I'm guessing. But I'm not a programming manager. I don't know. What am I doing? So speaking of like just other things that you don't get to talk about enough, we're on a game show. We're talking about game shows. Talk about some game shows. So Chris, there's all kinds of everything old is new again.
Everything old is new again.
Realm.
Something happened like 4 or 5 years ago where all of a sudden ABC Network decided we're going to bring back every good game show one at a time, year after year, and capture them perfectly and only update them as much as we need to make them amazing.
Yeah.
And it starts with Pyramid and Match Game. And I think probably my favorite of the crop is Press Your Luck.
Yes.
So the trouble I have with a lot of the big money game shows, like, so this is the era of like the Weakest Link and like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and that kind of stuff, is it got to a point where like right around Deal or No Deal, every game show that was on television was about watching somebody walk off a cliff and walk away disappointed and having made a tough and difficult and terrible decision, and then all of a sudden that was every game show. So you just walked away like hollow, right? And Press Your Luck has somehow made a big money $1 million game show where you walk away with a feeling of great joy every single time.
Yes.
The front game, the first half of the game is the one from the 80s you know and love, just with extra zeros on the end. For the prizes. And then the back half of the game, no matter what happens, that person is walking away with pretty significant money. They have a great time. It's a roller coaster. You have ups and downs. And even if they just like wipe out at a certain point where they had 6 figures and now they had nothing, somehow you walk away just feeling pleased and happy at the end of that show. It's amazing. It is my favorite of this particular crop of old shows made new.
I think one of the things I really found myself finding very endearing about it, and I haven't watched it since the first couple of episodes, was the like highly customized prizes.
Yes.
Where they're like, oh, we talked to your wife and we found out you're a 49ers fan. So here's what we're going to do. Can I get Jerry Rice to come out here for a second? And like actual Jerry Rice comes out. And he's like, oh, well, first, here's an autograph. This is yours on a football. And then if you win, here is season tickets for the 49ers for 10 seasons.
Right. Like it's always something way over the top like that. Like the one guy had a year's supply of SpaghettiOs because he just loved SpaghettiOs. He wipes out, he does not win it, and the SpaghettiOs company sends him a note and a gift basket full of SpaghettiOs. Like it's so, and there's all kinds of prizes like that on there. It's like, oh, you like Cher? You're getting tickets to every Cher show for the next year. Oh, you want to travel? You're taking 2 months in Canada, like that kind of.
and it always seems to be like, at least the reactions of the people, and I have not believed the people I've seen were such good actors, that they legitimately did not know. Like they probably filled something out somewhere, but they didn't know the significance of it. And you sort of see that moment where it dawns on them that some question they answered 6 months ago on some form is suddenly about to be the biggest version of that they can get.
Right.
It's going to be like, oh, Bruce, remember that you said you liked board games? Well, you're going to own Gen Con. Gen Con is going to be yours. Call it Bruce Con. No one cares. You're like, what? How is that even what?
We're going to bring in all the vendors. We're bringing in all the food and stuff, but only you get a ticket. You get to wander the halls by yourself. No lines.
There is a note, and I think this is probably where we're going to get to at some point, noting that Supermarket Sweep is the next one that's expected to be.
I'm excited for this. It's this month sometime. We expect that. There's a show that's been kind of overdue to come back, and I'm very, very curious to see how they implement that. I have a lot of faith because they are basically batting 1,000 on these. They all seem to be well rated. They all seem to come back for at least one extra season. And Supermarket Sweep is a crazy pants show.
Yes.
That's super weird, and I'm excited for what they do with it.
Also, for that, once I heard the host, I was like, that makes sense.
Yep.
Leslie Jones as the host of that show is going to be amazing, because you're not going to script Leslie Jones that much. She wouldn't have taken the gig.
No. And you don't want that. You want her to be her genuine self. Because there's nothing more fun in a game show than a host that really is rooting for the contestants and really wants them to do well and to win. And who isn't just this sort of I don't know, super neutral arbiter of everything. You want somebody that's pulling for the people to win. So, and Leslie Jones, I have confidence and faith that she will do that. So,
yeah, I have always found I want the host to have an opinion. Yes. I don't care if they're I think benevolent is probably great, but I'm even okay with a malevolent host that wants you to lose at every turn, especially if they can do it with a smile.
Yeah.
If, Jimmy Carr is really good at that. And he had the US game show where if you got things wrong, he just destroyed possessions in front of you. But there was something about that where he was Moriarty and you needed to defeat Moriarty, and he thrived in it. He was the Joker. He was like, oh, you always wanted a piano. Oh, you didn't remember President Lincoln was the 16th. This is a shame. Bring the wrecking ball out. And
sorry about
there's something about that I'm okay with too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jane Lynch does a pretty good job on The Weakest Link. I saw the first episode of that the other night, and Melanie and I enjoyed that very much. We were happy to see that show back. And another example of that show should have been completely demoralizing, and we should have walked away empty, and we did not. And I think part of that is because Jane Lynch has a great comic talent and brought that. So even though she's roasting contestants, it's being done in probably the most loving way possible, right?
And that is where that line is. And I think just the people who are writing the story of game shows got better at this since the 2000s. Because you're right, in the 2000s, it was, oh, you could win everything, but we really want to watch you fail. And now it's, we made the game in the 2000s. Failure's a part of it, but you're great.
Yeah.
The show's rigged. The show's terrible, but you're awesome. But the show, look at what they did. Let's say there's some more comments coming in as I am now seeing my computer's locking up. Here we go. Okay.
Awesome.
Pressure Luck is still fun and positive. I cried a few times on it. And I think that's kind of becoming the mark of reality TV. And that includes game shows.
Pressure Luck is a happy cry game show.
Yeah.
That's the only way to describe it. It's that sort of joyous and you never walk away feeling bad.
So then here's my question for you, because there's another type of game show that's come out of all this that I sort of quickly refer to as the charity game show.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about those? Because there's also this, for some reason, we like to put people on a hill now and push them off if they really need it. Where they'll do this guy is running a church mission that feeds the homeless 6 days out of 7, and on the 7th he cares for baby tigers. So he might win $400 million if the ball bounces correctly. But if he doesn't, at least he gets $800,000, and that's awesome. But the tiger preserve's not going to make it if he makes less than $1.2 million. And you're I don't know how I feel about those, because they're built to make me cry. And I don't know that I like that in a game show. If a game show makes me cry, that's different. But what are your thoughts on those?
I think game shows where the contestants are people that you would root for are the best ones to watch, right?
Okay.
And sometimes that feels genuine, and sometimes it does not. And you can kind of you just know it when you see it. I've never been really able to get into either The Wall or Spin the Wheel for that reason.
Yep, those are the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, because they feel like the big money game shows where they're secretly push you off the cliff shows, really.
Yes.
But they try to present themselves as though they are not, and I've never quite gotten the feeling they want me to have because of that. Yeah.
I felt like they are trying to manipulate me, and it's not in a good light, not in a way I enjoy.
Yeah. Whereas Pressure Luck, I lost $500,000, but I'm going away with $50,000 that I didn't have. And every decision I made was the right decision. I never made a decision that was well, maybe you shouldn't have done that. So I think that's ultimately that's the measure of a game show. Is like, did you walk away feeling good? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Flip noting from much earlier. Oh, you like crappy games? Here's a $10,000 Goodwill shopping spree.
I feel like he missed a decimal point in there somewhere. like a 10.000 dollar Goodwill spree. You still do pretty good.
Yeah, $10 you got with some stuff.
Yeah.
Practicing grabbing as many turkeys as you can because that's how you do it.
The limit is 5.
Yeah.
5 turkeys. That's no more. That's the other thing about Supermarket Sweep. It has weird corner case rules that they never mention unless it comes up. So, like, the first couple times you watch is like, why don't they just put all the Excedrin in the cart and call it a day? Oh, because you can only get 5. That kind of thing. This person didn't make money because they forgot to seal the zip tie on the onion bialy. So they don't get the $250.
I'm hoping in game show design they've just gotten better now, and they're going to do that little coat of paint of, we got to at least like explain these things quickly, or like we just have to take parts, or we have to only put 5 turkeys out. Like that solves the problem. Is you can only grab 5 turkeys because there's 5 turkeys.
Right.
Something like that.
Just like a throwaway line from Johnny Gilbert, just to kind of, by the way, this is a rule that you should have been aware of. So.
A note of Alton Brown on Cutthroat Kitchen. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
I love Cutthroat Kitchen. Melanie and I watched a bunch of that starting around Thanksgiving a year or two ago. We were just looking for something to throw on. It happened to be Cutthroat Kitchen, and then we watched all the rest of Cutthroat Kitchen.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It's a case where he's the malevolent host.
Yeah.
But you definitely sense the sort of humor and sort of goodwill coming from him anyway. And none of the contestants on that show are devastated that they lost, or they know what they're getting into.
Yep.
They just go and have fun with it. And so,
and I think like the sheer carrot top of the things, like at times you can see even he's laughing.
Right.
Where he's like, well, let's see what we bring out. Oh, you're going to have to prepare all of your food in a kid's cook set. I don't know how I do it, but let's see which one of you's going to do it. Like that kind of thing that I think works.
I think my favorite part of that is when they cut away to him and he's like, well, if it was me, I would have hard-boiled the egg first and then...
The thing I don't know if he understands is the pan is actually made out of metal. It's a functional pan. I don't know why he's not using it. I guess just the size of everything's thrown him off. But the pan it's got a French name. It's a blah 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 pan.
And he crosses his arms like, I think he's in trouble here.
Yeah, it clearly got him.
Right.
Question about Win Ben Stein's Money.
Great show.
Yeah.
I think there was this period of time in the late 90s where the wacky quiz trivia show was a thing. And some of those shows are amazing. The 3 that come to mind for me are Win Ben Stein's Money, Debt, and Idiot Savants on MTV.
So is that the worst game show? So I'm going to throw my opinion in first, and then you can follow up, which is I think it's a great show, but it's like an evil. It is. I've always referred to the dystopia that The Running Man is in.
Yeah,
is the game show dystopia. And to me, that is one very specific media-driven dystopia where in that dystopian world, game shows are what are doing everything.
Right.
And Debt, unfortunately, is in the program lineup with The Running Man.
Right. Paid Off with Michael Torpey was another one of those. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
No.
So that one was on True TV. I don't think it's still on, but it is a game show where people go on to pay off their student debt.
Okay.
And it was both a game show and a sort of salient statement about the student debt crisis. So people would play and the winner would win their student debt and then they'd have a chance to double their money, but they wouldn't like lose money if they lost. It was just a chance to like go home with some extra cash or whatever. So it's kind of in that same genre, I think, except that one was far less sort of ironic about it, I guess.
Okay.
But But yeah, I also think of You Don't Know Jack, that was the one that was only like 6 episodes with Paul Rubens as the host, with Joel Hodgson doing all the special effects and stuff.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that was a really fun show. That was just wrong place, wrong time. I think it would have survived in another environment.
Right now, it would have been amazing because they were using the humor of You Don't Know Jack with the knowledge that they were on like ABC. Right. They were like, oh, well, we don't need to do this in a way that's 2-dimensional on the screen. We can just have ninjas jump out and mess with you. Actual actors dressed as ninjas. Let's just do that. There was a lot about that was super duper cool. And I agree with you, in a different time, that would have worked.
Yeah.
Question from Flip. I love this question, so I want it up. Do you guys clap along at home with the guests?
Depends on the moment, honestly. Yeah. Like, if it's like a big triumphant moment, then we'll clap along at home with the guests. I also have a really annoying habit that I picked up, where anytime somebody is spinning a wheel in real life, like if I'm in a place where somebody is spinning a wheel, I always, the whole time it's spinning, and I don't stop until it slows down.
And they think you're a jerk, and you're like,
no, and I keep doing it. So it's
maybe I
am. Yeah,
I think it's a lot like pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm watching at home, I'm yelling along and I don't realize I'm doing it. Same deal. Question for them: have you seen Guy Fieri's Grocery Games? That is one I like because I also really love Guy Fieri as a game show host.
Yeah, I haven't taken the time to really dig into that yet, and I should. Flip has recommended that to me more than once, and I am delinquent in that duty, so I need to get on that.
Yeah, Grocery
so he's asking me again, have you seen
I just put it up again so I could discuss it.
Yes, and Bruce, we're trying to create a moment here.
God, no! As I just freeze silent. It is a great mix of any kind of cooking competition game show and Supermarket Sweep. That is it. Very much. That proved to us that Supermarket Sweep could work again. There's hope. I'm still trying to make a board game con version of Cutthroat Kitchen.
I wonder.
I feel like
if that's. I wonder if that's where you're trying to play a game and win under sabotage conditions, or if you're trying to design a game under sabotage conditions. I'm wondering which one of those is the one that works at the board game convention.
There's only one way for us to find out, and that's in 6 to 18 months when the world returns to normal. That we just get to get in this. Let's see if there's anything else. GSN had a show called Inquisition, which was the most bizarre thing they've ever seen. I don't remember Inquisition. Was that the late night thing where it was one host that just had to do weird late night stuff?
I don't, but I'm going to cut the wheel hard because there's a game show I want to talk about that it reminded me of.
Please.
So thanks, Smack and Woe. Cram. You heard of Cram?
Yes.
Okay, so I had never heard of Cram until a few months ago when we had our daughter Ruby, and I was up late at night. And so now when I get up to feed her, I'll throw on Buzzer or the Game Show Central channel on Pluto TV and just watch whatever's on. And it's just white noise to keep me awake while I'm feeding her. And one night at 3 a.m, I discovered Cram, which, if you haven't heard of it, is a game show from the early 2000s. Is again that wacky trivia show where they keep the contestants up all night and they make them study stupid things like books of children's trivia and random lists of facts and joke books and things like that, with the idea that they're going to have to perform stunts and recall this information. So they're cramming for a test overnight, and then they have to run on the hamster wheel and repeat as many times things as they can think of, or they have to stand on a balance beam and the host restarts the question if their foot touches the ground, like that kind of thing. Or you have to pedal a bike and you can only answer questions while the light is on. And that, when it's 3 a.m, I am in exactly the right mindset for that show. But it's only ever on at 3 a.m, which is disappointing.
There was that whole weird period, because all of a sudden I just remembered The Chamber. As you were talking about that, The Chamber flashed into me all of a sudden, where it was just weird, strange gimmicks for every possible trivia quiz show to try to make them more watchable. Oh my word. Let's see here. Oh, so apparently Guy Fieri's show is the only version of Plinko that Flip Flory approves of. So what country were you born in, Flip? Because
I
no
don't know,
American
yeah.
dislike Plinko.
This is something that he and I have disagreed on for years, and it's our one sort of agree to disagree thing. Play with sabotage games or cheats. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be like clearly a multi-game series that you would do.
Right.
That could be a thing there. And then shop till you drop.
Yeah, that's one of those that never hit my radar, and I've been meaning to try out. It's I've got a playlist loaded on YouTube to sort of dive into that and check it out because it's shopping. It's in a mall, so what could possibly go wrong?
I kind of remember. Now I want to go back.
Yeah,
I want to go back and check it out. But we have a game we're about to play.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Let me pull out to that screen. If you're out there, if you want to play, if you want a chance to win the brand new Mall Madness that Chris will send to you, fine viewer, this is the time to get in. Whatever device you have, whatever way you can get to the web, crowd.live, enter the code MA9GM. I almost did it again, Chris.
Maningum PI. Remember this.
Maningum, MA9GM. This is the time to get in. We are about to ask Chris 10 50-50 questions. He gave us his opinions. If you can figure out what Chris guessed, you're going to win points. The faster you answer, the more points it's worth. 100 points per question. Try to be right, try to be quick. Gosh darn it, 1,000 possible points out there, but normally about 430 wins it. We will begin in just a moment. I'll give you a chance to get in. 8 players in the game. One of you will win Mall Madness. One thing I'm going to note to everybody out there, because I don't know where you're watching from. You might be on YouTube, you might be on Facebook, you might be, you're not on Twitch. But if you're in one of those two places, there's a terrible lag between when Chris and I talk and when you hear it. Remember, the faster you answer, the more points it's worth. So watch your phone once we begin the game proper, and I'll give you a good 20-second warning for when we're going to begin. Just stare at your phone at that point. Don't worry about what Chris and I are saying. Worry about the phone, because the phone is the rule keeper. The phone is the referee. The phone is the arbiter. Just watch the phone so that you can answer quickly. Don't worry about us. Every time we do this, somebody says, oh my goodness, I was watching you, Bruce, and then I missed something. Don't let that happen to you, because you're winning Mall Madness. It's a real prize this time.
That's right. Don't pay attention to us. Pay attention to your phone.
Yes.
Look at your phone and not what's around you. Kind of.
One note, and this will be the last note before we start the game. So start staring at your phones. I didn't know I wanted Mall Madness until right now. Because it's amazing.
Well, you, Roman Yunker, could be a winner.
We are about to start the clock. 9 people are in the game. If you know the show, you know the clock has no 9 for some reason. I don't know what that is. 10, 8, 7,
6, 5, 4, 3,
2, 1. Our opening question: TV or movies?
I think the 9 escaped to the crowd code. Maningum. It is a secret agent, Maningum PI.
Oh, well done. Like, I feel like we need to give you the goal horn for that one. Because clearly you've been skating around to get that one in. And I like it. And apparently, okay, wait a minute. Not only are you amazing, Chris, and you and Roll Estate providing us with the prize, Mike Cooper will give places 2 through 6 a free code for Roll Estate.
What?
If you're in 2nd through 6th place, you will get a copy of Roll Estate tomorrow.
That's right. You could save $1.
Roll Estate for everyone. So let's take a look. Let's see how everybody felt about this one. TV or movies is our opener. 5644. I usually like the opening question to be the kind of thing where we're just testing phones. We're just making sure that everything works. So Chris, talk to me. TV or movies, and why?
Oh, it's very much TV. I feel like all of my cultural references, all of the things that I hold dear were on TV and are less likely to be in the movie. Like, there's a couple of movies like Ghostbusters, for example, that are like really important to me. But if you ask me about pop culture, I'm going to recall TV much more than movies. I went to TV school, so I have been on the inside for a second. So TV is near and dear to my heart.
Just dodging all the wires and cables as best you possibly can in there.
Yeah, that's when I went to school, when it was all wires and cables, really.
Yep.
I learned to shoot on an old VHS camera, and
Nice.
and I learned reel-to-reel tape in case I ended up at a radio station where they still did that. They taught you just in case, because that's kind of how the business was at the time.
Oh my goodness. Let's take a look. Let's see how the leaderboard looks after one question. Shark leading with 97. Malika with 96. The tree, just a tree, Chris, with 87 points. Kurt with 68. Tracy with 42. Roman, T-Bone, Peep Dish, and Flip Slorvy with 0. Hey, you're not that Flip Flory, are you?
Whoever that guy is. Boy, what a joke of a human being, getting 0 points on that one.
0 points? Does he even know you?
Clearly not.
Let's move on to question number 2. Here we go. $25,000 pyramid or supermarket sweep?
Wow.
You know,
this is one of those where if you were paying attention, maybe you already picked this one up.
I have seen you say in multiple places you feel you are personally very good at clue-giving games.
I enjoy clue-giving games quite a bit. But if you twisted my arm, I would say supermarket sweep. It's the one that really I get excited about. And the people agree, apparently. And I don't want to short $25,000 pyramid. It's a wonderful show. It's a show that I would definitely want to go on because I enjoy playing clue-giving games. But if you're going to ask me which one I would watch, it's sweep every time.
Nice.
I love this sort of sarcastic commentary that Johnny Gilbert does accidentally sometimes. Like, oh, is he going to pick up that bonus? No, he isn't. It just goes right by it.
That was a giant inflatable Excedrin. I have no idea why he didn't get it. It was the size of his body. What are you going to do? Let's take a quick look at the board. Let's see. Malika leading with a $191. Wow. Shark with 179. Kurt with 155. I'll announce down to 6 because you're getting prizes. Tracy with 91. T-Bone is giving it away. So I'm going to guess all the way down to Flip Slorvy. Winning prizes. Roman, Peep Dish, be ready. Flip's beatable. I believe. I believe I've met Mr. Slorvy. I believe he's beatable.
I had Roman Peep Dish a couple weeks ago. It was pretty good.
Boo. Let's move on to question number 3. Back to the future or forward to the past?
Ooh.
So, given a time machine,
about this one.
Future, go to the past. I was glad I put this one out there, Chris, and I figured if you didn't understand it, then I would just throw it away. But I was like, I think this would make sense. I think the whole premise of if you have a DeLorean, do you go to the future or the past is contained in the wording of the question. But I wasn't sure. Let's take a look at the crowd. Everyone figured Back to the Future. Chris, how do you feel about this one?
I said forward to the past. No points for anyone.
No.
Wow.
It was a Widowmaker.
You've all overbid.
Every one of you.
One person could have stolen the lead on that one. But
100 points.
I should explain this. Right, I should. So one of my favorite genres of entertainment is things that were made recently that are made to look like they were made 30 years ago. That sort of retro futurism. Yeah. So Garth Marenghi's Dark Place falls solidly within this. Double Dragon Neon. There's a board game called Video Vortex that I picked up recently that's kind of in this zone. And when done well, it's a lot of fun. It sort of just takes the way that you remember things from the past, but it turns up the dials on certain things in certain ways to really evoke those feelings. And that's why I said forward to the past. And that is heavy.
Yeah. Flip Flory, unrelated to Flip Slorvy.
No, completely different
also
person.
Playing the game.
Flip Flory, my good friend for many years. Flip Slorvy, a jerk who knows nothing about me.
No.
Not
going to win anything. Not going to happen. Let's move on to question number 4. Let's take a look. Rowdy Roddy Piper or Ric Flair? Known wrestling fan, decided to give you two of the most iconic bad guys of the 80s and 90s.
Agreed.
I would say between like 1986 and 1992. These were two of the absolute top bad guys that there were. I know I personally have gone back to the Royal Rumble that Ric Flair won to watch with a tear in my eye. Because I had forgotten how great that was. So let's see how everybody voted. 78-22.
Wow.
For one Mr. Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Lopsided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? Why?
I think the people are right. It is Rowdy Roddy Piper. Because I grew up in the 1980s and 90s. And for a lot of that time, I didn't have cable, which means that we got superstars on Saturday afternoons. And Rowdy Roddy Piper is what I got. And also, They Live is the greatest movie of all time. Exactly. There you go. You gotta put the sunglasses on. That sort of 9-minute fight scene where they're just arguing over sunglasses is pretty great. And just as a bad guy, he was just incredibly commanding. Like, he had a great mic presence and just enthralling to watch.
And definitely. Don't look at every single feud he had. There's one or two you're going to want to forget.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that's true of any wrestling career. But,
true. Every once in a while, and that's just for those of you out there, if you're watching this and you're like, but I want to look at a thing. Some of Rowdy Roddy Piper stuff, you have to be like, oh, but not that.
But not that. Correct.
And you'll be okay. Yeah. Let's take a look. Shark leading the game with 274. Malika close behind at 268. Kurt at 198. T-Bone at 181. Tracy at 160. Flip Slorvy at $143. Strange that. Pete Dish at 91. Let's see. Wait a minute. There are some notes over here. They Live woke everybody up. Apparently they played They Live at a functioning drive-in near me.
Oh, man. That would be so fun.
I know they were going to do this there's one in Pennsylvania that does a thing called VHS Fest, where they literally figured out how to hook up a VHS recorder to the whole drive-in. So they pick stuff that was only available on VHS. So it's all those like terrible VHS movies that are wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The kind of ones that I was able to rent at the video store when I was 8 and should not have been allowed to rent when I was 8. Yeah.
Yep. Stuff like the Video Dead is one that I specifically remember, where it was just zombies that climbed out of a TV. There's also can't wait for the They Live game to come out.
That is one I would definitely play. I did not kick in for that one, but if somebody put it in front of me, I would joyously give it a try.
Agreed. I really want to buy some of the They Live like shirt merch, but we're in a political time right now where I can't wear that and it not seem highly political. So I have avoided it, but I understand. And I agree. I would like to see the game when it comes out. Ice cream or cake? Hey, not all the questions are they're not all just Chris questions, man. Sometimes we
As
pick
it turns out,
some generic
I'm a
questions.
three-dimensional human being, Bruce.
Yeah.
The opinions outside of things about pop culture. Like, wake up like everybody else. Drink my 2 cups of coffee. Go to my job.
Just show up with your lunch pail.
Right.
Like everybody else. You talk to that wolf and explain to him that he's not eating any of the sheep today.
Right.
Yeah. Just like people. 67-33. Cake versus ice cream. Chris, what is it and why?
Ice cream is the answer. I love ice cream, and we actually have some really good local ice cream makers around here. Gifford's probably the most famous one in Maine. I love that there's a great deal of variety in ice cream. There's like really just a few kinds of cake, but there's a lot of different kinds of ice cream. And by the way, cake, always better with ice cream. Ice cream, not always better with cake.
Do because you've said some things that I find personally very controversial. There are not many varieties of cake would be the first one that I would pull out there. And I would say maybe that's a pants on fire, Chris.
Well, I can think of, there's red velvet. There's chocolate and vanilla.
Yeah.
There's chocolate and vanilla combined.
Yeah.
So that's 4.
Yeah.
And after that, what else you got?
There's carrot.
Carrot. Is that a cake, though?
Okay, so it is a vegetable, but also it is a cake. And before we end up, because I can tell what this is about to be, Chris, is 15 minutes of us trying to do it. I'm going to let Flip save us. Ben & Jerry's Cinnamon Buns is the bomb. And I do agree to that. I think that is very true. Let's take a look and see what the scores are. Malika leading with 360. Malika kicking your teeth in right now. Clearly wants to win Mall Madness. Sharkin is 274. Tracy 240. Kurt 198. T-Bone at 181 and also giving away 5 copies of Roll Estate. Peep Dish at 180. Flip Slorvy 143. The Tree at 87. Roman Y at 62. Melody's decided to chime in. Have you learned nothing from the Great British Baking Show? We just watched the cake episode. You just did this. How do you only know 3 types of cake?
She's right. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, thank you.
There's the cakes that's like 4 different cakes, but it's in one cake and you wrap it in almond paste.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 5.
What is that? The pie cakin or whatever, where it's a pie inside a cake inside another pie or something?
Sure, I believe
I had
you.
a friend make one of those for an annual party I have, where it was a pie inside a cake inside another cake inside another cake. I think it was a pie cakin. The turducken cakes.
Yeah.
And a note: this is very true. Have you seen the internet? Everything is cake. It's all cake, Chris.
Turns out the ice cream was cake the whole time. So,
well, did you know?
Yeah.
And Flip Floyd would like everyone to know, new episodes are on. Go check it out. That's of course of the Great British Baking Show.
Baking Show. Yeah, they're doing the weekly episode thing on Netflix right now. So we watched episode 1. It was darn good.
Nice. They had an entire season of Taskmaster that had multiple people from the Great British Baking Show on it.
Wow.
Taskmaster is my new thing. UK Taskmaster is my new jam. I'm very addicted. If you're out there, check it out.
Yeah, I think I found my entry point there. We'll find the season with the Great British Baking Show people.
Yeah, it has Mel, I can't remember what her last name is, and Noel Fielding are both on the episode, or are both on the season of the show.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
So let's move on to question number 6. Let's see what's happening here. Is cereal with milk a soup? I put the with milk in there because someone else had this discussion with me, and they were like, well, I don't eat my cereal with milk, so it's not a soup, it's a trail mix. And I'm like, okay, fair. So I have edited the question this time. I remind everyone out there, Chris was given 20 questions. He picked the 10 he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so then I have to own this, just like I have to own my lack of cake knowledge, which is now on the internet forever. I have to own this as well.
So as a class, 33% say yes, it's absolutely a soup. 67% say even with milk, it is not a soup. Chris, how do you feel about this one?
I said, yes, it is a soup. And the reason behind that is because I knew 67% of people would say that it is not. And I felt the need to take the contrary position because that is how I live my life, apparently.
Is that the contrary position? Because cereal with milk is soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there to talk about? There's no yes and here. It's just a cold fact.
Yeah.
And having a discussion about it is just discussing why a fact is not a fact, and we're not going to do that.
No. I don't know what anybody was doing. I'm shocked you even picked this one because I was like, it's so straightforward.
Yeah.
But it had come up on the show before.
Right.
So take a look. Malika leading with 360. Kurt with 280. Wow. A bit of a distance here. But remember, every question is worth 100 points, so you're never out of it. The Tree, you might be out of it, but everybody else is still in. Kurt with 280. Shark with 274. Tracy with 240. Flip Slorvy.
Kind of climbing up there.
225. T-Bone.
Slorvy.
Peep Dish at 180. I only announced the 7 because T-Bone is the one who's giving away the other 6 copies. So I would imagine he's not giving himself one. He probably already has 7 of them.
Yeah.
Wait. Once again, Flip Flory, not related to Flip Slorvy, giving me some comments I have to put up here. Oops, all noodles. That's now how I want to refer to spaghetti. That might become a question I ask people. Is spaghetti just oops, all noodles version of soup?
That's great.
We're going to move on to question number 7. Here we go. Burger King or Wendy's? We all know, if we're fans of yours, and goodness knows, Chris, I am a huge fan of yours.
I appreciate that.
That you're a big McDonald's guy.
I am. Yeah.
To the point to where maybe it's a little scary.
It's a little scary. It's so our dining room is painted like the inside of a French fry box with red walls and then yellow and white curtains, as though you're sitting inside French fries. And
that's delightful.
Yeah, and among the things in that room is a painting that my friend Professor Laserbook's Mrs. Heather Barter did of Mayor McCheese as Napoleon. And so, yeah, I like McDonald's a little bit, you might say.
2 things I feel like I want to bring to your world. You probably already know about them, but I want to also make sure that you do. 1, Pop Vinyl is currently doing McDonald's characters. You can get them right now for a normal price.
Yeah, and I should do that.
Yeah, because I added Mayor McCheese. I have a board of directors, which is now like Mayor McCheese, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Shere Khan from Tailspin, just anybody in a suit that has something important to say.
Yeah.
And have you watched the documentary McMillions about the fraudulent Monopoly game?
So I did in the first weeks of my daughter's life.
Okay.
I remember none of it.
Okay.
None of that time is the time that I can recall. It went by in a weird blur. It was McMillions and playing Mario Maker Endless Mode on easy to stay awake.
Wow. Yeah, that's a combo. That's a stiff 2-drink combo there.
Yeah.
So looking at the crowd, this is the first one where I feel like the crowd's really been split. 44-56 Burger King or Wendy's over Burger King. So Chris, we know the obsession with McDonald's.
Yeah.
But given your number, presumably whatever one of these would be, which is it?
So I think a lot of people said Wendy's because they've been trying real hard lately, right? They made a role-playing game for Pete's sake. They have a sassy social media presence. They're kind of like to stunt and do things. I said Burger King. And the reason I said Burger King was because it's all about like that sort of personal nostalgia for me. Mm-hmm. And my Burger King nostalgia comes from the period of time in the early 2000s when I was in college.
Okay.
I went there with my friends a lot. I had a lot of spicy tender crisp sandwiches. And that was the period of time when they had the creepy king with the weird mask.
Yes.
And they had the Xbox games that you could get. And I played many rounds of Big Bumpin', the bumper car game, to a point where the music from that game still plays in my head from time to time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And it was like, I got an Xbox game for $5 at Burger King, and it's actually kind of decent. And that was a warm and fuzzy memory of mine. So
let's take a look. A couple things coming up here. We got to address some of this stuff. Is the liquid in soup considered a gravy?
Is the liquid in soup? I think it's considered soup.
Yeah. I have to
that's
agree.
What makes it a soup is the soup in it. So
yeah. He's just right.
Yeah.
I read the article on McMillions. The guy also had the winning purple M&Ms. Yes, he did. And they were in aluminum foil hidden somewhere in the house. Because that's one of the stories in the McMillions thing is he says like, okay, just don't eat the M&Ms in the aluminum foil hidden behind the bowling trophy. And they're like, what? And he's like, no, they're going to do it in a couple of weeks. They're the purple M&Ms are worth $500,000 a piece. Just don't eat those.
Wow.
Yeah, it's real weird. And then Flip Flory, no relation to Flip Slorvy. Who is the better fries, though?
I'm going to answer yes.
I think I would still answer McDonald's.
I love all fries. I mean, if you twist my arm, I would say McDonald's. I think they're the best fries.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me to pick between Burger King and Wendy's, the answer is yes. They're both great fries.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's take a look and see how the board's doing. Malika with 450. She will not quit. She will win that all y'all. Shark closing at 366, Kurt at 280, Peep Dish at 269, Tracy at 240, Flip Slorvy at 225. Flip Slorvy, the cutoff for people that leave with prizes. Roman in 7th, T-Bone falling towards the back to probably just not be in the middle of everything.
That was Flip Slorvy's nickname in high school, I'm pretty sure, is the cutoff for getting prizes.
We're going to move on to question number 8. Hands on buzzers, get ready, here we go.
Yep.
Fall or spring? Some of these questions are just like questions you ask a person.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Hey, how do you feel about seasons?
It's like, hey, you're new here. We're all going to introduce ourselves, and we're going to answer fall or spring.
I almost put this at the beginning, but I felt like there were just things people were going to know about you more easily if they were at this particular show right now. And this I did not feel like would be one of them. Let's take a look. 56-44. I expected another split here. So, Chris, fall or spring and why?
It is fall with a bullet. I love this season. I am an outdoor walker very frequently. I walk to work every day. And fall is a time of year when the ground is not soaked in mud here in Bangor, Maine. And the temperature is right. And the leaves are turning. And there's sales on candy. And it also puts me in the mood for heavy metal every year. Like something happened when I turned 30, where before that I was listening to mostly heavy metal from like Finland. And then I turned 30 and all of a sudden all I wanted to listen to was Phil Collins and Hall & Oates. But October every year, that spirit comes back alive inside me. And all of a sudden I'm cranking up like Paradise Lost and Within Temptation. And I'm like, I haven't listened to Strapping Young Lad in a while. Let's crank that up. Like, so it's just that wonderful time of year for me.
Wow. There was a lot there, Chris. There's a lot to unpack. Both in the Finnish heavy metal, but also that person and the Hall & Oates and the Phil Collins. I don't know. Wow, Chris. I'm going to throw to the board while I try to process.
Sure. Do. Look at Shark go.
Kurt at 375, Pete Dish at 357, Flip Slorvy in 5th place at 308. Whoa. T-Bone moving up, taking the 6th place, which means Tracy, 240, will be winning that 6th copy of Roll Estate. Remember, if you're one of the 2 people that doesn't win Roll Estate, copies are available midnight. Are we doing it midnight? Is that what's happening?
No idea. It's up to them. Sometime in the next 24 hours, $1. If you absolutely can't wait, you can pay $3.
Yeah.
It's your life, and I'm not here to tell what you to do.
Yeah. Neither of us are your dad.
No. You wouldn't want that.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm just seeing some more stuff coming in. My only regret is getting the question about television right. Because Jordan has missed apparently everything. At this point, I'm just trying to get them wrong. Another one wrong. Sometimes you just want to shoot the moon. You're like, I'm just done with this. I'm hitting none of the pins.
It's like you're having some form of reaction where you just want to overturn everything. I feel like there's a phrase for that, and it's not coming to mind.
One tilt.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that is
That's the best one that I can think of.
That is the term.
Yeah.
Is that you're absolutely on tilt like a pinball machine.
Yeah.
One of the things I didn't ask you about, I didn't even think to ask you about the pinball and things. We'll have to find a way to work that in somehow.
Sure. Yeah, we're 13 minutes over. Whatever. Let's talk pinball.
Yeah.
I'm excited. There's a place down the street from me that just redid their basement, and they're opening a little arcade in there.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so if their precautions are good, I might go and shoot some pinball for the first time in months and months and months, because that's one of my very favorite things to do.
I'm right there with you. So much so, I put together a video pinball machine that is a pinball machine with video pinball in it, so I can play pinball.
That sounds amazing. And probably cheaper than real pinball.
Say it again?
And probably cheaper than real pinball, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm also not good mechanically.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Keeping up on that stuff is tough. I'll let somebody else do that.
We're going to move on to question number 9. Text or talk?
Number 9.
So then I'll ask you at the time here, what's your favorite pinball machine? Your single favorite pinball machine? If you have a one. If not, feel free to give me the couple that everybody answers their favorites with.
Doctor Who pinball with a bullet. I like a lot of pinball machines, but that one is easily my favorite. I like that you can select a different character at the beginning, so you can unlock a different bonus depending on your strategy. It's super silly. The Daleks yell at you. It's great pinball. And if I had enough equity in my home, I might own one. But
when they put out the video version, they remade it for the new Doctors.
They did, and that was like an okay version, but the original video version, which is sadly no longer available in the store because of licensing issues, it's a great application, great version of it.
I'm hoping maybe they'll deal with it in the new company that got all the pinball stuff. Maybe they'll figure it out.
Knock on wood. I hope so too.
So Text or Talk 6338 goes talk over text. Chris, what is it and why?
It's talk. And I feel like I should be really clear about this. So like for day-to-day like utility communication, it's text, right? Like if I'm coordinating plans for the weekend, I don't want to have to wait until I have your attention and you're on the phone and then ask you, hey, what are you doing? And then you have to decide whether or not you're going to answer me truthfully, right? Yeah. So for that kind of stuff, text is fine. But I found myself maybe like 6 months ago plotting these weird plans in my head to like, I haven't caught up with so-and-so in a while and they have a podcast. So I should try to weasel my way onto their show so we can catch up for a while. And as I kept formulating this, I realized what I really want to do is talk to them on the phone. Like that's actually what I'm looking for here, is just to talk to my friend for a minute. And so now I'm a person that talks to people on the phone. Like I just put it on my calendar once in a while for people I know. It's like, hey, let's talk on the phone for an hour and let's catch up. And I've grown to really value that, especially not just with the sort of world situation, but especially during when we were home from leave with the new baby. It was a way to stay connected once in a while. So now I'm a talk on the phone kind of person. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Nice. Is there a way we can do a podcast, but for 0 people?
That's exactly.
Is there a way we can do that?
I mean, a lot of people do that anyway, unintentionally, but
but you know that we're walking in. Making a podcast, not your normal Bruce, 7 people listening.
Right.
Actually, literally 0.
Exactly. No one will ever hear this unless they have an illegal wiretap. That's, yeah.
And then quick pinball run. Notes for the Addams Family, Attack from Mars. Flip Flory, not related to Flip Slorvy.
Right.
Very happy with Doctor Who.
Yeah, he and I played that one a bunch in New Hampshire. We actually took a special trip to New Hampshire to go play that machine with, and that was a lot of fun.
And then one note, with text, it's impossible to drive someone up a wall by saying Mario Jumanji.
Mario Jumanji.
Mario
Jumanji. Yeah.
Malika, 545, 544.
Oh, whoa!
This is a 1-point game. For Mall Madness, we have 1 question remaining. Woo! It comes down to the very end.
Gonna have to be fast and gonna have to be right, man. Good luck.
Oh. Speed is important to both of you. Hands on buzzers. Get ready. Final question of the game. Here we go. A musketeer with super jump or a moose that relies on heat vision to see? That's what we're going to end this, because we always end it with an absurdist one if you are cool enough to take one. And you definitely were. A musketeer with super jump or a moose that relies on heat vision to see?
I'm going to make sure it's an earned victory today.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Let's take a look. Exactly.
Wow.
1 person left. And it is now 50-50. Chris, let's work this out.
Okay.
What
it's not to be a musketeer with super jump. I mean, come on. First of all, super jump is the most desirable video game power-up, period. Any game in which there is jumping, super jump is highly desirable. Yeah. Also, a musketeer has a musket.
That's what makes a musketeer.
Right. So if you have super jump and a ranged weapon, I feel like that gives you the advantage.
I felt like this was going to be easier for people, but a 50-50 right down the middle. We're about to reveal our winner in just a second. First, Chris, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on and be a part of this. I want to remind everyone, PNP Arcade, half off, or no, I'm sorry, 2/3 off, 66% off, starting tomorrow on Roll Estate. We'll be back tomorrow night with its quiz time at 8 o'clock. More stuff coming through the weeks. Pay attention to all the various social medias. If you are one of our many winners, contact me at BG The Game Show on Twitter, and I will get the information I need to the people I need to. Yeah, so let's take a look and see how this ends the game. Here we go, folks. Bam! 644, 561. Shark winning it. Shark, you've just won a brand new copy of Mall Madness. Kurt, Malika, Peep Dish, Flip Slorvy, Tracy, all of you are going to leave with a copy of Roll Estate. Good work, everyone. Good, and thanks for sticking around. This was a long one, but I feel like we knew it was going to be. If you've watched, you knew.
Yeah. You knew it in your heart.
What has God wrought? Smack and woe. Getting it there. Malika lost it on the moose.
Wow.
Blame it on the moose. Blame it on the henny, Malika.
That was an amazing effort, I have to say. That was a heavyweight fight at the end. Some amazing, close, wonderful gameplay right there.
Roman very close to getting into contention to win one of the copies of the game. And Flip Flory up, down, left, right. BA start 30 Musketeers. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That's true.
Once again, Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, for being willing to be a part of another one of these silly projects I'm working on.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on and letting me hang out with the internet live for an hour and 20, for sure. It was good.
It's something, isn't it? When the internet's just there and you can just see it like this.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah, it's fun.
And to all of you watching, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of this. Remember, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. I'm not YouTube enough to know all the things you're supposed to do, but like, do all the things. Just tell everyone on earth about this and that it's awesome. And if you know people working for a game company or that sell like Scentsy candles, I'm always looking for sponsorships so that we have cool prizes. Flip noting so much love for us and so much love for you, Flip. Thank you so much.
Yeah, much love to Flip Flory and much hate for Flip Slorvy.
Oh, well, Flip Slorvy's trash.
But Flip Flory is an amazing human being. And by the way, I'll sneak in a plug here. His 100th episode is coming up of Flip Flory's Super Saturday Board Game Serial. You should definitely check that out. It's going to be amazing. I've got kind of the inside tip on what that's going to be. You don't want to miss it.
If you have never listened to an episode ever, this is the one you want to listen to. I'm not going to tell you much. I will tell you from the outside hearing about it. It is, quote me if you need to, a Herculean effort.
Yep.
That Flip has gone through to entertain every gosh darn one of you. So there's one thing. I don't know if you can see this, if you see the chat. Come on. Say the thing. Tell us how many points we won. How many points did we win? Say the thing, Chris. Say the thing.
All right, hold on. I would say you won 10,000 points. You're welcome.
I clap along at home. Once again, thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much to all of you. Tell everybody, do all the places, all the stuff. Stay clean, stay sane, stay safe, and we will see you, if not tomorrow, next week. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Be wonderful. And until next time I see you, go play some.